because of young sister's death. This transformed me into the strongest in the mainland. Because of my unruly nature, I could never escape from the shadow. In addition to the clan's long-term accusations and deliberate alienation, I chose to leave home and live incognito. I was indeed the irretrievable lunatic, stubborn and without any strength. Young master. But in order to make up for the guilt and expose the mastermind behind young sister's murder, I must become stronger first. And my strength must surpass that of one person and be above 10,000 people. In the end, it did come true as I wished. After 2.5 years of mercenary life, I have accumulated endless fame, honors, and wealth. People all call me the king of mercenaries. Just as I was preparing to return to the clan to make up for the mistakes of the past, my clan Fidium was already in ruins, completely declined. Fortunately, heaven showed mercy, giving me another chance at life after my head was cut off by the enemies of the clan. Looking at the reflection in the water, my heart is filled with confusion. Yes, I still do not know that I have been reborn. How come there is no wound on my neck? Could it be that they captured me and conducted magical experiments on me? At that moment, a soldier walked in. "Young master, I knew you were awake," he said. I recognized him. He was Ricardo, a soldier of Fidium. But to get to the truth, I drew my sword and held him hostage. If you don't want to treat today as a day of mourning, then answer my next question truthfully. Unexpectedly, Ricardo let out a deep sigh under my coercion. It still won't change, no matter what you do. Not possible means not possible. I was a bit confused by what nonsense you were talking about. Who knew in the next second this guy pushed me hard? You just tired yourself out and fell asleep. How come you forgot everything so quickly? It is absolutely impossible to get the command authority to crusade against the orcs. Pack your bags quickly. We are setting off today to return to the main city of Fidium. The moment I heard that word, I immediately reached out and grabbed Ricardo's shoulder. Hasn't Fidium been extinct for a long time? After that, Ricardo brought me to a cliff where I could see main city. He then whispered, "Young master, even if you are poor, there's no need to curse your clan for being destroyed. If Lord Master hears you, you will be whipped." I pinched my own cheek fiercely. So you mean I've been reborn now? But at this point, it may be too early for me to be happy. The group of threats against the clan most likely started implementing their eradication plan earlier. However, at the moment, I still need to deal with what is about to happen. Just now Ricardo mentioned the issue of command authority related to Orc. How could I possibly forget this memory? At that time, I ignored advice and followed the subjugation squad to the North Fortress in order to achieve merit. The intelligence report mentioned that 3 orcs would attack, which stirred my desire to lead the operation. After all, dealing with just 3 orcs is nothing to me. But the reality is different. There were not just 3 orcs. There were nearly 200 of them, a terrifying number. This directly led to the heavy casualties suffered by Fidium's subjugation squad. Fortunately, there is still some time before the orc invasion. I have enough time to devise a thorough and victorious plan for the campaign. Little did I know, as soon as I finished speaking, a watchtower in front of me was smashed to pieces. At the same time, the patrolling soldier also sounded the alarm. Orcs appeared, facing a large number of orcs attacking suddenly. The weak soldiers quickly fell in battle. Suddenly, a command came from afar. "Soldiers, do not panic. Prepare the defensive formation." This person is the commander, Ben, of the subjugation squad this time. But soon he also realized that something was wrong. The number is simply something that their subjugation squad cannot resist. If they continue to consume resources in this way, the entire army will be wiped out. And during Ben's moment of daze, an orc suddenly launched a sneak attack from the rear. Seeing the situation, I immediately stepped forward and charged ahead, then pushed him away behind me. On the other hand, Ben witnessed everything in shock. It faced a huge axe against my body once again. My move was an upward chopping strike. I directly cut both the orc's weapon and arm into two halves. And after I defeated this orc, I then walked straight to Ben and commanded, "Give me the command authority of the subjugation squad." How can he possibly hand over the command authority to a lunatic when he is currently on the brink of life and death? I'm sorry, young master. Forgive me, I am powerless. Now is not the time for children's war games. Ben's response makes my head hurt, but I can't blame him entirely either. If it were me, I wouldn't be able to turn such an important thing into a complete mess of a loser. Under the circumstances, I had no choice but to resort to Plan B. Just as Ben was preparing to intercept the incoming orc, I, standing behind him, directly took a step forward and flung the sword out. Ben, who was almost cut, grabbed my collar and angrily shouted, "Young master, can you stop causing trouble?" However, in the instant that the words fell, he realized the strike I just made actually hit the orc's most vulnerable spot. Then I questioned Ben in return. "Do you know what the most basic thing in a battle is? If even the momentum is worn down, then the final outcome of this battle, I'm sure you know better than I do." After saying that, I did not pay attention to the phrase, command authority, anymore. I rushed into the herd without any hesitation. I wielded the sword skillfully in the midst of the flashing blades and sword shadows. A small number of orcs is simply not a threat to me. But this shocked Ben. He feels like he's dreaming right now. Obviously, even Mana couldn't understand, but now the loser young master can single-handedly confront the brutal orc. This amazing swordsmanship skill. This simple and flexible footwork. Me in Ben's eyes. I'm like a seasoned swordsmanship master in Ben's eyes. At the same time, we are facing an increasingly growing number of orcs. In addition, with my stamina rapidly decreasing, I can only learn to use another character Silver Tongue to cope with it. I haven't warmed up yet, to be honest. You fighters of the kinds are just SOSO. Under my mouth-tuned taunts, basically all orcs were seduced by me together. As for the rest of it, I can only rely on Ben's destiny. Fortunately, this guy didn't let me down when all the soldiers thought I was just running away. He saw through my battle plan. All soldiers quickly form a shield wall formation and provide full-speed support to the location where the young master is running. At this moment, I have been cornered to the cliff by the orc. But I see the situation behind me. I can't help but smile when I see what's behind me. Then I take a step forward and jump off the cliff. "I'll leave the rest to you all." "Right now," Ben ordered. "Everyone push these damn orcs down for me." In the end, the subjugation squad only suffered a casualty rate of 10% and achieved victory. But this is also a redemption for the mistakes made in my past life. At this moment, Ben discovered me below, leaning on the cliff with a sword. He wanted to reach out and pull me up, but I was too exhausted to even hold onto the sword. Suddenly, a voice appeared in my mind. "Brother, please take me away." This is the voice of my younger sister Alina. After that, I woke up from this dream and realized that I had miraculously survived the fall off the cliff. But I had depleted my strength to the extreme during the battle. As a result, I am now experiencing intense soreness all over my body to the point where even breathing is somewhat difficult. It was at this moment that the person I once admired the most appeared in my eyes. Her name is Linda, and she is the maid who has accompanied me since I was young. She is also a teacher in my life. After the clan's destruction, the only thing I could find related to her was a worn-out shoe. At this moment, Linda is still blaming me for my incompetence. The next second, she was lifted up by me, and Linda saw you again. I am really happy. What's there to be happy about? We see each other every day. Upon hearing this, I made a bold decision, which is to tell her about my reborn identity. Linda, listen to me. In the near future, Thidium will face a major crisis. Don't ask me how I know, because I am a reborn individual. Linda just doesn't believe me. All right, you are reborn. But what I want to tell you is that the real crisis Fidium is facing is you, young master. She still won't stop talking when she sees me. Later, Linda gave me a long 2.5-hour family-style lecture. She then asked me if I wanted to attend the celebration 1 week later. My pupils instantly contracted upon hearing this. Linda thought I had forgotten about this important matter and joked that if Miss Alina found out, she would definitely be very angry. But the fact is not so, because the day's celebration was held was the time when Alina was murdered. This memory has tortured me for a lifetime. Anyway, I have to tamper with it. At this moment, Alina pushed open the door and walked in. She came specifically to visit me. Seeing this, I hurriedly hugged her tightly and said affectionately, "Brother, I miss you." Upon hearing this, Alina only felt extremely disgusted. "Move away quickly, you jokester." After being pushed by Alina, I almost couldn't catch my breath. Should I say that my little sister's talent is much stronger than mine? This much power at such a young age. Little did they know that what I was about to say would shock Linda and Alina to the core. "I'm sorry. I did get a little too excited just now." How could the young master apologize on his own? "Indeed, Linda, you were right to invite me. My brother's mind has truly been addled by the orc." Upon hearing this, I originally wanted to argue back. The physical pain once again engulfed my whole body. Seeing me struggling in pain and falling to the ground, their idiotic smiles also healed me. Everyone is indeed the same as usual. This kind of life is what I want the most. As for what I should do next, I have to undergo training first. This time, I will definitely not let the person who killed Alina succeed. After, I found Old Man Fergus. He is in charge of managing the training grounds of the Fidium. Take me to the unused training ground. I want to train. Fergus feels today is as strange as the sun rising from the west because since birth, what he hates the most is training. The scene suddenly shifted, and Fergus brought me to a brand new training ground. Looking at the complete set of equipment inside, I felt very ashamed. Even after becoming the king of Mercenary, I have never received such treatment. Later, I understood from Fergus that this training ground has always been exclusively for me. The equipment inside is always carefully maintained in case I need it suddenly. I don't express gratitude very well, but Fergus, please, you have to live well. The feeling of death is really terrible. Young master, have you experienced it once? When I heard that, my eyes immediately lit up. Finally, I've met someone who knows what's up. Yes, young master, I am reborn from the dead. But the result is the same as Linda's. Fergus simply does not believe. However, I don't care anymore. After calling out Fergus, I am about to start my first training session. Don't forget to subscribe. This is a half of a grimoire that has been abandoned in the outhouse for thousands of years. As soon as I saw it for the first time, I knew it was a priceless treasure. I reached the peak of the continent in my past life by relying on it. The mana core within me has directly broken through to an astonishing 5th layer. And humans need to use mana to improve various aspects of their physical attributes. They must feel and absorb the magical particles in the air and condense them into the 1st layer of the mana core. Sitting cross-legged on the ground, I recall the training methods recorded in books from my past life. For someone who has been through many battles year after year like me, creating the 1st layer mana core is as easy as eating a meal. With the appearance of 3 mana cores, I directly forced a breakthrough and linked them together. Its success means that my first training has reached the mana core 3rd layer. Due to the overloading use of my body, I also suffered from internal injuries and bleeding from all 7 orifices. It seems that this is my current limit. I almost gave half of my life in the previous life. I have only reached the 5th layer of the mana core as well. It doesn't matter anyway. After all, the 3rd layer is enough for me to unleash explosive power in a short time. Besides, that group of people would never send out the top experts in the clan just to deal with a little girl. At this moment, I suddenly summed up the reasons for my defeat in my previous life. even if this training method can make me temporarily stronger. But maintaining the mana it consumes will also increase rapidly. Fortunately, as a reincarnated individual, I have two major advantages: a young body and ample time. I can raise my mana value to the ultimate limit, eliminating any obstacles. In the previous life, you guys chopped off my head. This life, I will definitely make each and every one of you pay back. Just wait and see. Scoundrels who only know how to play despicable tricks in the dark, including you, who destroyed my Fidium clan's Delduke, the time is quickly approaching, just 1 week from now, at the evening celebration. At this moment, I am fully armed and ready at all times. And young sister Alina showed a look of surprise when she saw me. I didn't expect you really have leisure time to attend the celebration. In previous years, I couldn't even catch a glimpse of you. Also, I heard that you were buried in the training field these days. Is your head really not kicked by those orcs? For this, I can only say that I am the first successor of Fidium. It is my duty to become stronger and protect the clan. Alina was speechless. Clearly, I was super repulsed by the idea of succession before. She even sometimes wishes that I could have a serious illness, or die heroically in battle and pass on the position of heir to someone else. I am willing to risk my life to protect you, but you actually wish death upon me. Yet, it seems like Alina is really enjoying tonight's celebration. I won't continue to argue with her either. After a week of investigation, I found out that the main city and streets did not show any unusual phenomena as usual. Moreover, even if I have some knowledge of the future, I cannot calculate the unknown based on this information. That means I have to make every move in this game of unknown future on my own. Later, I followed Alina's lead. We tasted all kinds of delicious food along Celebration Street. Since the offerings at Celebration are pretty much the same every year, Alina quickly got tired of it. She really hopes for some innovative things to appear this year. On the contrary, I disagree with that. I have always been observing everything around me. Perhaps it's because I am too close to Alina. The first day of the celebration is nearly over, and the other party has not shown any signs of revealing anything. But just as I was pondering whether to go explore the main city next, a soldier walked over and told Alina that there was a special event happening somewhere, and he was going to take her to check it out. And Alina also took the soldier's hand without any hesitation. The soldier on the left is called Jamal, and the one on the right is called Philip. They grew up with Alina since childhood and are recognized as the most trustworthy bodyguards in the domain. But at this moment, everything suddenly makes sense to me. These two guys have actually been traitors hidden by Alina's side all along. The scene suddenly changes as Philip points ahead and says, "This is the place where a special event is about to take place." The venue is empty, with not a single person in sight besides them. Alina really can't imagine what could be good to watch in a dirty place like this. So she began to accuse Philip. "Hurry up and take me somewhere else, otherwise I will deduct your wages when I get back." As for me, I have been observing the surrounding environment all along. At first glance, this does seem to be a sparsely populated street, but in reality, all escape routes have been ingeniously blocked. At this moment, I was pulled away by a sudden force that came out of nowhere. It turned out that Philip didn't want to take her to have fun, which made her so angry that she grabbed me and just wanted to go home to sleep. To my surprise, just in the next second, Jamal blocked Alina. He gave her a fierce look and warned, "I've told you to wait. If you don't listen, I'll tear you apart right now." Upon hearing this, Alina trembled all over and asked, "What exactly do you two want to do to us?" "I warn you, if we can't get back to the domain today, those people won't let you off the hook." Philip has also decided not to pretend anymore. Of course, we have received a very good commission. You just wait here obediently. Otherwise, don't blame me for being too harsh. After speaking, 3 tall men walked up behind Philip. If I'm not mistaken, they are the ones behind the scenes who commissioned these 2 traitors. "You are doing a good job. Your efficiency is so high." Philip responds, "Of course. Now that the person has brought you, please don't forget to give us rewards, big brother." Man with Hat did not respond to this because he saw a very familiar face. Isn't this Fidium's loser young master? Didn't the commission mention that he should be brought here as well? Philip then explained that the foolish young lad came on his own, considering it as an additional gift for you. The reward remains the same as agreed before. After Philip finished speaking, I coldly said, "Don't think that just because you two sold us out, you can walk away unscathed from here. Young master, you should worry about yourself first. The other party is not to be trifled with. And I have long wanted to leave this impoverished and plague-ridden Fidium. Being poor is bad enough without having to fight orcs at the border every day. I'm tired of this kind of life." Who knew that just as Philip made his declaration, I pulled out the sword from my waist. I struck with just one move and instantly defeated him. On the side, Jamal was stunned, his mouth trembling so much that he couldn't even speak. This is the outcome of betraying domain. It's your turn next, Jamal. Hearing this, he quickly hugged Alina, intending to use it as a threat. Unexpectedly, his sword had not been drawn yet. My sword had already struck him right on his forehead. It seems that Jamal is going to die without closing his eyes this time. Because he never expected that the loser, who only knew how to play all day, would use mana to kill himself today. At this moment, I noticed that Alina's emotions were getting more and more not right. So, in order not to hinder my own subsequent actions, I decided to knock her out first. You three, right? It seems I can't delay any longer. At the very moment when I saw young sister being kidnapped and her life hanging by a thread, I slapped her on the neck. Just because I was about to face 3 strong opponents, so as not to interfere with my upcoming battle plan. I have to let her take a nap for the time being. It's a good opportunity to prevent her from seeing more bloody scenes later. At the same time, Man with Hat was surprised after seeing me kill 2 soldiers in seconds. Basically, everyone in mainland China knows that Fidium's young master doesn't even understand how to wield a sword. Not to mention that he needs to use mana now. Young master, it seems like you have been hiding your strength all along. I did not respond, but I pulled out the sword inserted in Soldier's Tianlinggai. Although there were 3 people, the mana of the 2 people on the left and right was almost negligible. The guy wearing the hat might be a bit harder to deal with. It seems I can't delay for too long. However, I still really want to know who ordered you to kill me, young sister. Man with Hat's face was full of contempt. I only know that this is completely unnecessary for a dying person. In that case, I will beat you until you submit before asking questions. Suddenly, the 2 little brothers beside Man with Hat drew their swords and charged towards me. Catch me them alive. Later, let young master experience the feeling of being tortured and not dying. I am not worried at all when I see this. I took out a small bomb from my bag and threw it out. I then caught it at the moment of the explosion. I directly dashed forward and swiftly killed one of them. The other person saw the flaw in my attack and immediately swung towards my side without saying a word. Little did they know that I had already seen through the opponent's attacking methods. I defended perfectly with a simple block. Next, I grabbed the opponent's sword with my right hand. I then forcefully pulled and snatched his weapon away. Without a weapon, he was completely vulnerable, like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. I easily took care of another enemy. But at that moment, I sensed waves of killing intent creeping up behind me. Man with Hat thought his ambush was about to succeed. He did not realize that I, who have experienced many battles, have a keen sense of smell for danger, while tactics simply cannot harm me. For this reason, Man with Hat also finds it unbelievable. He can't imagine how this strange grip can actually block his attack. The only possibility is that I, this guy, am still hiding my true strength. Taking advantage of the moment when Man with Hat exerts force, I rapidly rotate 180 degrees to prepare to attack his lower body. Even if he reacts in advance and jumps upward, But my sword techniques with dual swords are ever-changing. I successfully hit Man with Hat's neck with an upward strike, but I never expected that my attack would hit a vital spot. Man with Hat still had the strength to strike back. Fortunately, I quickly adjusted my position and managed to barely block his attack. At this point, I noticed that the wound on Man with Hat's neck was densely packed with mana, which made me understand why his head didn't fall off after that strike. I didn't expect that he would actually have this kind of defensive technique, gathering mana at a certain part of his body to reduce the damage received. On the other hand, Man with Hat who, although felt that the sword techniques I used were very strange, was completely overwhelmed by absolute strength. Give me death, you stinky little ghost. With your mana, it is absolutely impossible for you to win against me. And the current situation is indeed as Man with Hat said, I am in a passive position. However, he absolutely did not expect that I would do this to test his strength, to see to what extent. You old thing are just SOSO. After saying that, I used the two swords in my hands to support my body on the ground and stabilize my posture. Then my left foot started to gather strength. Immediately, I charged straight toward this guy's face and landed a heavy blow. I thought that even after no time at all, the Man with Hat had adjusted to me, thinking that this kick still couldn't actually hurt him. Who knew that just as he was about to show off his skills, a sudden dizziness swept over from my head. He was spitting out blood profusely from his mouth, staring at his body, trembling uncontrollably in disbelief. I couldn't break through his defense even when I used the sword just now, but now I was kicked and exploded. But such a reaction is normal. How could someone from Mana Core first layer defeat me from Mana Core third layer? Just die, you damn old thing. As the words fell, I thrust the two swords in my hand forward. I quickly and forcefully swung down. Man with Hat's defense seemed so sloppy. Finally, his hand was shaken to the point of trembling. The sword in his hand even appeared with a big crack and was about to shatter. And as I unleashed my final strike with all my strength, the sword of Man with Hat shattered. A huge gash was cut across his chest by my sword. But now I can't kill him yet. He hasn't answered my question from earlier. So just to be safe, I decided to destroy this guy's mana core just in case. At this moment, I suddenly punched him in the neck and asked, I'll ask again. Who exactly ordered you to come here to kill young sister? Suddenly, a hidden weapon shot out from the sleeve of the Man with Hat, and its target. That would be Alina, who was lying on the ground. But I won't let him succeed so easily. My mana can be drawn out and used. I anticipated that despicable tactics would be used before the battle even started, so I had already created ley lines in advance. I warn you not to play tricks. Answer the question properly and promptly. If you make me happy, perhaps I will spare your life by drawing my sword. Man with Hat is not responding. I increased the force so that the sword touched his mana core and caused damage. Man with Hat, who felt the damage to his mana core, also became anxious. Are you crazy, you little devil? If the mana core is detonated, we will both be blown to pieces. Upon hearing this, I responded coldly, Of course I know. Such a situation only occurs in the hands of those without strength. At this point, with mana leaking more and more outrageously, there are even sparks of lightning with fire. Man with Hat finally understands clearly that I am not just bluffing. In the end, he compromised. Okay, I admit defeat. It was Del Duke who ordered us. He wants to take this opportunity to provoke a conflict between you and Daigle clan and start a war, while they just sit back and reap the benefits. Indeed, it is the work of Del Duke. In the past, for such dirty matters, he usually delegates them to his subordinate Duke or other members of his clan to handle. He has never shown himself in person before. Later, I told the Man with Hat that a lesson I learned in my past life is that when dealing with despicable people, one must not show any mercy. I am reborn, as you have heard. After saying that, I didn't give Man with Hat a chance to catch his breath. I suddenly exerted my force to destroy his mana core. At this moment, Man with Hat even tried to resist with his only moving head. But such attacks were not even worthy of being considered by me. That's it. I just happened to end the celebration on the first day. I have wiped out the last enemy. I saw Alina lying on the ground unharmed. I can finally put down my weapon and relax my guard as well. Who knows, the next second a surge of pain instantly swept through my whole body. Indeed, my body that has just recently undergone training is not yet capable of using the Mana Core third layer for an extended period of time. It seems that I will have to train diligently in the future. Otherwise, it will be difficult to deal with those tricky guys from my past if they suddenly show up. Later, I ran towards a nearby house. Just now, the Man with Hat also said that killing Alina was to provoke a battle between the Phidium and Daigle clan. In fact, I already knew about my past. When I discovered Alina's body, I also found the body of Daigle's eldest son lying next to her. After that, this guy will bear the blame for killing Alina. From this moment on, my Phidium clan has secretly been planted with a time bomb. So in order to prevent this from being discovered, I have decided to destroy the evidence. How could I, who was born again, let you succeed so easily? And just as I left with Alina on my back, a man in black suddenly appeared on the branches behind me. While others are still relying solely on mana to increase their strength, I can draw out special threads from mana to assist in battle. This skill is like an auxiliary program. I acquired it in a half-forgotten grimoire that had been abandoned in an outhouse for thousands of years, and during the showdown with the Man with Hat sent by Del Duke. If I hadn't created the ley line in advance, I'm afraid the despicable means that Man with Hat wants will succeed. But it also has a fatal weakness at the same time. That is, the extremely high consumption of mana during its execution. Therefore, with my current abilities, it is simply unrealistic to sustain it for a long period of time. But just as I was about to leave the scene with Alina on my back, a man in black suddenly appeared, but he quickly disappeared into thin air. Little did anyone know that this person was the middleman planning to assassinate Alina. Due to the failure of the plan, the man in black was now being reprimanded by his superiors. It seems that the person you chose for the assassination job is quite careless, yet he can't even handle a little girl. Upon hearing this, the man in black quickly explained that it was Phidium's young master. But before he could finish his sentence, everyone slammed the table in frustration because they all knew that they were already considered hopeless losers by the clan. So how could they possibly hinder the operation? I see you are fabricating lies in an attempt to cover up your failed actions. The only explanation now is that there is a severe deviation in the information circulating about Phidium's young master. I witnessed with my own eyes that his mana is quite high, possibly even higher than mine. This also led me to not dare to act rashly, which is why I decided to come back and report this matter. Don't worry, masters. This plan is not a total failure. The assassination of Daigle's eldest son has been successful. So please give me another chance to make amends. Little do you know that this group of people all have a resistant attitude. You can't even handle 2 kids with messy hair. It's hard for us to believe that you can continue to accomplish anything good. Suddenly, a scolding voice came from the depths of darkness saying, "Shut up, all of you!" Then he asked, "I will give you the opportunity you want. But if the plan fails again, you should know the consequences better than me." The man in black eagerly assured that he had found the right person to eliminate Phidium's young master. The person's name is Kane Rogers, who is well known. Despite his young age, he is highly skilled in swordsmanship. His innate brute strength makes him unmatched among his peers in the north. The most important point is that Kane is the cousin of the Phidium young master. At the same time, in Phidium main city, Fergus specifically came to the training grounds to find me. However, he was suddenly shocked when I cast the ley line from afar to retrieve the sword on the wall. Puzzled, he then asked, "Young master, how did you do that?" "You are right. This thing is called ley line. This is a special line created by extracting from mana. Upon hearing this, Fergus felt ashamed. He thought his years of experience and training with mana were rich, but I was able to invent such a novel way of using mana at such a young age. But it is quite normal for Fergus to feel this way. After all, just half a month ago, I didn't even know how to use mana. Now, not only has my swordsmanship improved significantly, but my mana has also increased a lot. However, this is still something to be happy about. Such a young master is worthy of the title of the first heir. Also, thank you, young master, for protecting Miss Alina. There's nothing to thank for. As her elder brother, it is my responsibility to protect her safety. The scene changes. At this moment, I am preparing to have lunch with Alina. I am indeed very happy to see that Alina in this life is safe and sound. But she is only at the present stage. Those guys will never give up on the assassination mission after just one failure. So the only way to change the history of Fidium being destroyed is not just to improve my own strength, but more importantly, to enhance the military power of the clan.